Hello everyone and welcome back. I am Lucy. A big thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the channel. If you have not subscribed, please do so that you will get a notification each time I upload a video. Today's video is about Robert Ouko, who was a Kenyan politician who served as Foreign Minister of Kenya from 1979 to 1983 and from 1988 to 1990. On the 27th of January 1990, Ouko left Nairobi as part of a delegation of 83 ministers and officials, among them President Daniel Arap Moi, to attend a prayer breakfast meeting in Washington, D.C. The delegation arrived back in Nairobi on the 4th of February 1990. There was nothing unusual about Monday, the 5th of February 1990. Robert Ouko, the then Minister of Foreign Affairs, met with President Moi, the Japanese ambassador to Kenya, the Canadian High Commissioner, Bethwel Kiplagat, who was a permanent secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and Hezekiel Oyugi, the permanent secretary, Internal Security. Later that day, Ouko traveled to his country residence, a farm in Koru, some 300 kilometers from Nairobi. He was accompanied by his driver and a bodyguard. Ouko did not travel with his family to Koru. What Robert Ouko did not know was that he was a marked man. On the night of 12 February 1990, Ouko disappeared from his Koru farm and his burnt body was discovered 4 days later. The barely recognizable body was found at the hills of nearby Got Alila, 2.8 kilometers from Ouko's country home. A 5-liter jerrycan, a walking stick, a torch, matchbox, a pair of gumboots, a briefcase, a jacket with a pistol were found near Ouko's body. Initial police reports suggested that Ouko had committed suicide. However, it became known that Ouko had also been shot as well as burnt. The suicide theory seemed absurd, and there were hints of a cover-up attempt. Public pressure led President Daniel Arap Moi to ask British detectives from New Scotland Yard to investigate Ouko's death. Several motives were advanced as who might have wanted Ouko dead. Had Ouko had a fallout with Moi's kitchen cabinet after the US visit? Was Ouko killed because of the dossier on a graft scandal he was about to release that would have implicated powerful politicians? There were also allegations of corruption in the Kisumu Town Council and the Kisumu Molasses plant. Was Ouko killed because of a family feud? At the time of his murder, Ouko was not seeing eye to eye with his two younger brothers. Then there was the suggestion that Ouko might have been killed because of a love affair. After investigations, it became clear that the last 3 possible motives could not have led to the murder of Robert Ouko. Power struggles or corruption seemed to be the possible causes of the murder of Robert Ouko. It had been alleged that during the Washington trip, President Bush Sr. had met with Ouko and not with President Moi, and that this had caused a row between Ouko, Moi, and Biwott. This row led to Ouko being banished by President Moi while on the visit to Washington. He was stripped of his ministerial rank, sent home on a different flight, his bodyguards dismissed, and his passport removed on arrival in Nairobi. As the investigation continued, it became clear that there was no credible evidence to support that the Washington trip was a motive for the murder of Ouko. Official records and witness testimonies proved that Ouko continued to discharge his official functions. He met with President Moi, government officials, and diplomats. On the 10th of February 1990, Ouko attended an event organized by the Rotary Club in Kisumu. In his speech, Ouko was full of praise for the president, and this was his last public engagement. It is believed that Ouko was abducted from his home on the night of 12th February 1990. Concerns about the whereabouts of Robert Ouko grew when he failed to show up at the airport for an official trip to Gambia. 24 hours later, the government announced that the family of Dr. Robert Ouko had not seen him since 13th February. And on the 16th of February, President Moi officially announced Robert Ouko's death. The president announced that there would be investigations to find out who had murdered Robert Ouko. Due to mounting pressure, President Moi had to call in New Scotland Yard detectives led by John Troon to help with the investigations. The Scotland Yard detectives carried out a second post-mortem. The post-mortem revealed Ouko had died as a result of a single firearm wound to the head, and that the body had been set on fire in an attempt to destroy it. Robert Ouko was buried on the 24th of February 1990. The Scotland Yard completed their investigations in mid-June 1990. After a lengthy standoff with the Attorney General of Kenya over the proprieties of transmittal, Scotland Yard delivered the report on Monday, 20th, 1990. In October 1990, President Moi appointed a public inquiry into the case. The inquiry was terminated by President Moi in November 1991 when the lead Scotland Yard detective John Troon was being cross-examined on the grounds that he needed to return to the United Kingdom. John Troon never returned to Kenya, and the commission did not produce a final report. The Kenya police took over the investigation, and 10 government officials were detained for questioning in relation to the murder of Robert Ouko. A district commissioner from Nakuru was tried for Ouko's murder in 1992 but was later acquitted. In March 2003, the newly elected government of Mwai Kibaki opened a new investigation into Ouko's death that was conducted by a parliamentary select committee. The select committee did not complete its work and was disbanded in 2005. The incomplete report of the select committee investigating circumstances that led to the death of Robert Ouko was never debated in the Kenyan House of Assembly or put to a vote. Most close associates of Robert Ouko, suspects and witnesses died mysteriously. It is now 33 years since Robert Ouko was murdered, and his killers have never been identified. The brutal and shocking murder of Robert Ouko, who was a high-profile Kenyan politician, remains a cold case as those who murdered him have never been identified. That is all for today. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel. I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.